Okay, good morning to all of you. I welcomes to all in our lecture series on electromagnetic theory. That is your core paper 13 belongs to 6th semester BSc syllabus. In our last class, we have been discussed in detail about Brewster angles for both parallel polarization and perpendicular polarization. Okay, so in today class, we are going to discuss total internal reflection and and evanescent wave okay, so let's start. So before we have to start the all the mathematics whatever you have in course, I'm going to just discuss about whatever we have been studied in our plus 2 level, what will be called as so-called internal reflection and what is your critical angle. Those things we have been studied in our plus 2 level. Just simple recap for you. Here, two mediums we have been considered. This is medium 1 and this is medium 2. The refractive index of medium 1 is N1 and here N2 is your refractive index of medium 2, and where N1 is greater than that of the N2. That means here medium 1 is denser and this is your rarer. That means if a electromagnetic wave is going to be propagate from medium 1 to medium 2 through this interface, then that wave is going to be go away from the normal in the medium 2, as medium 2 is a rarer medium as compared with medium 1, right? That we know that whenever the light is traveling from denser to rarer, then it is going to be bent away from the normal. Suppose this is your water medium and this is your air medium, and a light is traveling from denser to rarer medium. Rarer, water is denser and air is the rarer medium as compared with water. The light is not going to move in its original path. It has to bend, but it will bend away from the normal, like this is your normal, it will be away from the normal. Okay, if we are going to consider a light is travels from rarer medium to denser medium, so it is also going to be bent but towards the normal. So here we have been considered that the electromagnetic wave is traveling from the denser medium to rarer medium through this interface. Here the figure is like this way it is represented. Okay, this way represented, but here in this way I have been taken the incident one. Okay, so the incident one is going to strike at the interface. It will not going to move its original path, it will be moved away from the normal. So here you can follow that this one is your interface where the electromagnetic wave is going to strike with a angle of incident theta I, and this is your normal, z axis is your normal. So as it is a denser medium and it is a rarer medium, the light is going to be bent from its original path. So this is the original path, it is going to be bent away from the normal in this way. This is the so-called transmitted wave and this is your reflected wave, incident wave. Now if I am going to be increase this incident angle somewhat, then this theta t also is going to be increased. Again I am going to somewhat increase the theta I, again it will be increase. At a particular angle we can found that this transmitted light or transmitted wave or transmitted energy or transmitted electromagnetic wave is going to be on the surface. See, whenever I am going to be increase the theta I, this bending is going to be increase continuously. At a particular angle of incidence, this theta I is going to be 90 degree. That means your transmitted light will be along the interface, or we can say that on the interface. Okay, so here the figure 2 that is represents that this is your this angle, the red one. red one is your angle for which the transmitted light or transmitted electromagnetic wave is along the surface or on the surface, we can say. So again, if I am going to increase the incident angle, this one, or this is the incident wave having the incident angle greater than that of the theta c critical angle, then the light again it will bend. Again it will bend means it will move to the same medium. So this is your medium 1 and this is your medium 2. So theta I gradually increases. This theta t is going to be increase, and a particular theta c at a particular angle of incidence, that is your theta c, this transmitted light is going to be on the surface. Again, if we are going to increase the angle, this light will be inside the same medium. That means we can get total internal reflection. Total internal reflection means incident light or incident electromagnetic wave and reflected electromagnetic wave are in the same medium. Okay, we are not going to get any type of transmitted electromagnetic wave or energy in the second medium. Okay, so this is your so-called your total internal reflection, or in short I have been written TIR. Okay, so whatever I have been discussed with the help of these two figures, in short I have been written over here. I suggest you all of have to write in your note. Okay, what we have been written, I have been written, just follow it. Let a plane electromagnetic wave is incident on the interface from denser to rarer medium. So this is your incidence electromagnetic wave from denser to rarer medium at the interface. Suppose it is incidence with an angle of incident theta I, and theta t is your transmitted or refraction angle in the rarer medium. So theta I is your incident angle in the denser medium, theta t is your transmitted or refraction angle or refracted angle, transmitted or refracted angle in rarer medium. Internal reflection means incident and reflected waves are in the same medium, whatever I have been discussed in the figure 2, this one. Incident 1 and reflected 1, both are in the same medium, but the red color is represents the angle of incidence for which the transmitted light or wave will be on the interface or on the surface, you can say. Okay, are in the same medium represented in figure 2. Here N1 represents refractive index of medium 1, N2 refractive index of medium 2. Here N1 is greater than that of the N2, that means this is your denser medium and this is your rarer medium. Medium 1 is a denser, medium 2 is rarer because refractive index of 1 greater than that of the refractive index of 2. Now, according to Snell's law, we know that theta I by theta t will be equal to N1 by N2. That we know according to Snell's law. That implies theta I will be equal to N2 by N1 into theta t. Let this is your equation number 1. So from the figure we can get that from the figure 1 we can get that theta I will be always less than that of the theta t, right? For the refraction or transmitted wave, the refracted angle always will be the greater than that of the incident angle. So theta I always less than, or we can say theta t greater than that of the theta I, because N2 by N1 is less than that of the 1. So here you can see, as n1 is greater than that of the n2, so n2 by n1 obviously less than that of the 1, because n1 is greater than that of the n2. Here you can see, if this value is less than that of the 1, then from this equation number 1, sin theta I by sin theta t will be less than that of the 1, right? This can be possible if sin theta t will be greater than that of the sin theta 1. So this sin theta t will be greater than that of the sin theta I. This can be possible if theta t will be greater than that of the theta I, because we know that sin 0 equal to 0, sin 30 1 by 2, and if we have to move up to sin 90, then it is gradually increases and the value will be 1. So hence here sin theta I by sin theta t is less than 1. That means the denominator will be greater than that of the numerator. So sin theta t, if greater than that of the sin theta I, that means theta t should be greater than that of the theta I. Okay, so here it is written the same thing. Okay, now the value of theta t becomes 90 degree for a particular value of angle of incidence theta I. This value of angle of incidence for which theta I becomes 90 degree, theta t, mistakenly I have written, theta t becomes 90 degree is known as critical angle, and it is denoted as theta c, also represented in figure 2 by red dot line. Red dot line. Okay, you write for your reference, you can write over here that so at a particular any incident angle, we can get a transmitted angle, and the transmitted angle always will be the greater than that of the incident angle. If I am going to increase the incident angle, then transmitted angle also increase and increase. For a particular angle of incidence, it will be 90 degree. That particular angle of incidence is nothing but called as your theta c, or critical angle, called as critical angle. That is your this one, this red dot. For this one, this is your reflected one, this is your incident one, this one is your incident, and this one is your reflected, and this one is your transmitted. So for this case, transmitted light makes an angle 90 degree with the normal, and the corresponding theta I incident angle is nothing but called as your theta c, or the so called critical angle. Okay, critical angle. Hence from equation number 1, what we can write? Equation number 1, this is your equation number 1. For the critical angle of incidence, this theta I will be written as theta c, and theta t is nothing but your 90 degree, right? So theta c will be equal to n2 by n1 into sin 90 equal to n2 by n1, because sin 90 is 1. Let this is your equation number 2. Okay, thus for wave incident at theta I equal to theta c, the refracted or transmitted wave is propagated parallel or on the surface. That is your figure 2, already we have been discussed. As incident wave at an angle of critical angle, the refracted or transmitted wave is parallel or on the surface. This one, parallel to the surface or interface, or on the interface, we can say. Okay, now for total internal reflection, the condition should be n2 greater than that of the n1. Sorry, here I have mistakenly written n1 should be greater than n2. for our discussion, whatever we have been yet discussed, that total internal reflection we can found when medium 1 have the larger refractive index than medium 2, that is your n1 greater than that of the n2, and another condition is theta I should be greater than that of the theta c. If theta c will be the angle of incidence, theta c, just look the red dotted line. If the incident wave will be make an angle theta c with the normal, then the transmitted wave will be on the surface. But if we want the internal reflection, then we have to take more than theta c. The incident angle should be take more than theta c. That means incident angle should be greater than that of the theta c, this one. So this is your incident radiation or wave, and this is your reflected. There is no transmitted wave. This is so-called internal reflection. That means incident and reflection or the so-called transmitted wave, we can say it will be bend and it will be totally bends inside the same medium. That means we cannot segregate, or we cannot separate which one will be the reflection and which one will be the transmitted wave. We can get only incident and another reflected one, like this. So hence it is called as the total internal reflection. Only reflected light we can found. There is no transmitted wave we can found for the case of total internal reflection. So again, we have to consider the Snell's law. According to Snell's law, n1 sine theta I equal to n2 sine theta t. Here sine theta I by sine theta t is nothing but can be written as n1 sine theta I equal to n2 sine theta t. So n1 sine theta I equal to n2 sine theta t. That implies sine theta t will be equal to sine theta I by n2 by n1. Okay, sine theta t, this one moved this side, or n1 will be written at the denominator of the n2. So you just take n1 to this up to the numerator. It will be n1 sine theta I and n2 gone to this side. Okay, so sine theta t will be written as sine theta I by n2 by n1 is equal to sine theta I by n2 by n1 we found in equation number 2 is sine theta c. Just put sine theta c, n2 by n1 is nothing but sine theta c here, that we found from equation number 2. Let this is your equation number 3, that is your sine theta t is equal to sine theta I by sine theta c. So if theta I greater than that of the theta c, then this sine theta I will be greater than that of the sine theta c. So hence sine theta I by sine theta c will be greater than 1, because numerator is greater than that the denominator, means it will be obviously the ratio will be greater than that of the 1. So sine theta t will be equal to sine theta I by sine theta c will be greater than 1. Now cos theta t, we know that 1 minus sine square theta t whole root over. You just take common minus 1 from these two terms, then it will be sine square theta t minus 1 whole root over. The root over of minus 1 is nothing but I. You just take I outside and it will be sine square theta t minus 1, sorry, sine square theta t minus 1. But sine square theta t can be written as sine square theta I by sine square theta c, because sine theta t is nothing but your sine theta I by sine theta c. So instead of sine square theta t can be written as sine square theta I by sine square theta c minus 1 to the power 1 by 2. Simple. And here cos theta t will be equal to I into b. Here b is nothing but this much term. Okay, so here cos theta t we found a imaginary value I b. Let this is your equation number 4. But here cos theta t will be taken as minus I for our further derivation. Why we have been taken minus I instead of plus I, that we are going to discuss here in this page. You just follow me, okay? So here you just concentrate that cos theta t is a imaginary value, that is I b, but for our convenient, that to describe the physical phenomenon, here I is considered as minus I. Okay, so where it has been why we have to consider minus I, that I am going to explain here in this section. Just watch. Now just put a subheading that general wave equations of transmitted wave. So put a subheading as general wave equation of transmitted wave. The transmitted wave can be written as Et in general. This is your amplitude Et. This is the capital T into e to the I omega t minus k dot r. Let this is your equation number 5. May you remember, initially when we starts the reflection and transmission of electromagnetic wave by a perfect dielectric for the normal incidents, at that time I have been written equations of incident electromagnetic, reflected electromagnetic and transmitted electromagnetic wave in general form. This is the electrical components and these are the magnetic components. You just consider the electric component, that is Et equal to, in general it will be written as E small t e to the I omega t minus kz. Many books they have been written E0t. Okay, many books they have been written E1. So here I have been written E small t, that is your amplitude of the electric component of electromagnetic wave. So same thing I have been written over here, that Et transmitted wave in general can be represented as Et into e to the power I omega t minus k dot r. And here k can be written as j sin omega t plus k cos omega t, sorry, j sin theta t plus k cos theta t into omega epsilon 2 into mu 2 whole root over. How it is, just watch. Here you can see whenever the transmitted wave we are going to be considered, this is in the plane of yz. That means it has y component and z component, right? So here you can see this is j cap sin theta t, k cap cos theta t. So as it is theta t and this is the direction of propagation vector we are going to be consider k. So its cos theta component will be along this side. This side means along this way, that means along z axis, and its sin theta component, this is theta, okay, cos theta, k cos theta t is along z axis, and k sin theta t is along y axis. That means it will be your k cap and this side is your j cap. So hence k vector, propagation vector, can be written as j cap sin theta t, because along y axis sin theta component we found, so sin theta t plus k cap. Here k cap means along z axis, okay, don't be confused here k and k. This k is propagation vector and this is your z axis direction. K cap cos theta t into omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over. How it is? Because we know that modulus of k is nothing but omega by v, because v is nothing but omega by k, or k modulus is nothing but omega by v, and v equal to 1 by mu epsilon, and the transmitted wave we found in your second medium. So here mu epsilon will be mu 2 epsilon 2, right? So if I am going to consider k modulus, it will be omega by v. V means 1 by mu epsilon root over. So mu epsilon root over will be moved to the numerator. It will be mu epsilon root over. As it is second medium, it will be omega into epsilon 2 into mu 2 whole root over, right? See, here I written mu epsilon, here I written epsilon mu. So don't be confused, okay? Because it is in a multiplication format, so don't be confused. So k modulus will be written as omega into mu 2 epsilon 2, whatever written over here. So this is represents the modulus of the k, and this represents the direction of the k. This represents only the direction, and this represents your modulus, magnitude and direction vector. R is nothing but your generalized position vector, that is I cap x, j cap y, k cap z. Now we are going to consider the dot product of these two, because here it is the dot product k dot r. We are going to simple doing the dot product. Here you can see this is j cap, k cap, k cap. So only this two term is going to be found after the dot product between k and r. You can see y j cap. So y sin theta t plus z cos theta t into omega whole root over of epsilon 2 mu 2. Now the equation number 5, just substitution. Okay, just substitute k dot r over here in your equation number 5. So we found E capital T vector will be equal to Et into e to the I, omega t is here, omega t, k dot r will be written as this one, y sin theta t plus z cos theta t into omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over square bracket. Okay, simple. Again I am going to multiply this one, omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over, with this term and this term. And here I have been written that omega t, y sin theta t, omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over, here omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over into sin y sin theta t. Then again it is going to be multiplied with this one, minus omega mu epsilon 2 mu 2 root over z cos theta t, Now et here this one this term minus omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over z cos theta t exponent of this much, I have been taken this side, sorry, to the outside as this one. So you can ask, where is the I? Here I is going to be multiplied with this one. Where is the I? You can see that cos theta t is considered as I beta. Here you can understand that why we have been considered instead of IB minus IB. Here you can understand that cos theta t is considered as minus IB. So if I am going to consider cos theta I equal to minus IB, then it will be, here it is minus I, here is I. Here you can see cos theta t is considered as minus IB, here is minus, so minus plus, and again IB is going to multiply with I, it will be I square means minus 1, so minus omega epsilon 2 mu 2 whole root over into cos theta t is considered as minus IB. So I multiplied and here is minus, so it will be, after that it will be minus at the end, and B into Z. B into Z. Got it? So here we have been considered that cos theta t is minus I, then this will be e to the minus omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over bz. Suppose we are going to consider this will be plus. Suppose cos theta t we have to consider plus IB. Then this term will be plus. That means e to the plus omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over bz we are going to find out. How? This will be IB means here minus IB. Minus IB multiplied with I. Minus I square. Minus I square means plus 1. So this factor will be plus. If this factor will be plus, then this one is represents the amplitude of the transmitted wave. Okay, so the transmitted wave, if will be a exponent of positive value, amplitude of transmitted wave, if it will be exponent of a positive value, that means what? That means the amplitude is going to be increase with increase of z. See here, this is in the form of some constant into z. That means if z is going to be increase, this is going to be decrease as it is minus. So if we are going to consider plus IB, then it will be some positive value e to the some positive value into z. That means with increase of z, this exponent value is going to be increased, which will be physically not acceptable. You got my point? So if we are going to move towards positive x-axis direction, the transmitted light amplitude is going to be gradually increased, which will be physically not acceptable. So hence, only for that we have been considered the imaginary cos theta t will be the imaginary, but instead of I we have been considered minus I. Here, if I am going to consider cos theta I is minus IB, here minus plus IB multiplied with I minus 1. So e to the power omega epsilon e to the power minus omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over z into b, or bz, whatever I have been written over here. So why we have been considered at that time minus IB instead of plus IB? Here this is the things whatever we have been discussed. Okay, so let this is your equation number 6. Yes, in equation number 6 another thing I have been also done, that by taking this factor to outside of this square bracket, inside the square bracket we found e to the power I omega t minus omega epsilon 2 mu 2 root over into y into sin theta t. Sin theta t also can be written as sin theta I by sin theta c. Sin theta I by sin theta c. This is c. Okay, sin theta I by sin theta c. Let this is your equation number 6. So from equation number 3 and 4 we have been substituted the value of cos theta t and sin theta t. So equation number 3 represents your this one sin theta t, this one, and equation number 4 represents this one IB. Cos theta t is your I minus IB. Got it? Now from equation number 6 what we found? We can found equation contains two parts. One is real part and another is imaginary part. This is your imaginary part, this is your real part. The real part, the real exponential part, when multiplied with ET, it can be found the fractional decreasing of amplitude of electric field. So this is your one real part and this is your imaginary part. When the real part is going to be multiplied with this one, that means the whole is indicates that ET decreases with increase of Z. So same thing it has been written, the fractional decreasing of amplitude of electric field, while this complex exponential is seen as the wave propagating along y direction having amplitude is this much. This wave is called evanescent wave. Got it? It is very interesting. That wave is traveling along y-axis. Wave is traveling along y-axis. However, the amplitude of that wave is continuously decreasing if we have to move along positive z-axis direction. I have drawn one figure. From there you can better understand here that figure. Whenever we have to discuss about evanescent wave, at that time I am going to discuss. So this scenario is called as the so-called evanescent wave. That wave is traveling along y direction, having the amplitude is this one. Okay, here amplitude is this one, means as we have to move towards positive z-axis direction, then the amplitude sharply decreases. E to the power minus some constant into z. Z increases, this whole factor decreases. This wave is called as evanescent wave. Okay. Now, if in your exam, if evanescent wave is asked in your question for 4 to 5 marks, then you have to write this one. Okay, what it is, just follow it. So for evanescent wave, you just put this one, evanescent wave. By considering total internal reflection condition, we found the general equation of evanescent wave in figure this one. In figure is this one. This is your last expression, whatever. This expression is nothing but your evanescent wave, okay, or the so-called transmitted wave. See, for the total internal reflection, it is told that there is no wave we are going to found in the medium 2. But however, whenever we are derived the mathematical expressions or mathematical derivation, we found there is a wave in our second medium, even if for the total internal reflection. That is your so-called evanescent wave. So evanescent wave is represented by the equation or expression is this one, whatever I have been written over here. So if evanescent wave is asked in your exam, directly you have to write the evanescent wave is represented. Evanescent wave means the transmitted wave in the second medium in case of total internal reflection. So here the same thing I have been written, that by considering total internal reflection, we found in exam how you are going to write, by considering total internal reflection, the general equation of evanescent wave. These things you not to be right, you should not be right, because as it is your running note, so I have been written, but in exam you have to write the general equation of evanescent wave is this one, as shown in figure. You have to draw this figure also. Okay, so same expression I have been written, nothing I have been changed. This equation number 6, whatever I written over here, the same expression I have been written here. So from the above equation, it can be perceived that there is a presence wave, there is the presence of wave can be found in medium 2. Okay, total internal reflection told that whatever incident wave we are going to be incident on the interface, there is no transmitted or refracted wave we are going to be found medium 2, but with the derivation of the mathematics, at the end we found a wave or the transmitted wave for the case of total internal reflection. So wave can be found in the medium 2 but with decrease of amplitude from the interface. So here from the interface, this is your interface, and if you are going to move from the interface towards this side along positive z axis direction, the intensity is going to be decreased gradually, and this is due to the evanescent wave presence in the second medium, and the length of this intensity is distributed the very thin very thin length, that is around 250 nanometer. Okay, so now property of evanescent wave. Though there is a wave in the transmitted medium, we can show that transmitted medium comma we can show that on an average there is no transfer of energy from incident medium into transmitted medium. So again, here what we have to prove, that as from the expression here it is shows that there is a presence of wave in the second medium, but total internal reflection told that there is no energy has to be propagated from medium 1 to medium 2 because it is totally reflected in the same medium, or total internal reflection. So here we have to prove that as this wave, the evanescent wave, is present in the medium 2, however there is no energy is going to be transmitted from here, from this medium to this medium, even if wave is present in the medium 2. Even if evanescent wave is present in the medium 2 for the case of total internal reflection, but there is no energy is going to be transmitted from medium 1 to medium 2, that we are going to be proof. Though there is a wave in the transmitted medium, we can show that on an average there is no transfer of energy from incident medium to transmitted medium. How? By considering Poynting vector. How it will be? We know that Poynting vector is P equal to E cross H, but the normal component for this case will be here this will be the incident electromagnetic wave, means the normal component will be this side, and this will be your E cross H cos theta t, whatever we have been discussed initially. You can follow in case of oblique incidence. At that time also same thing we have been done. This is your incidence incident radiation theta I, this will be theta I, this will be your this side, this is your normal component of Poynting vector, that is your I have been written somewhere here. These are the incident cos theta t transmitted energy for add to the interface. Okay, so same thing here, it has been written that E cross H cos theta is the normal component of, for this case, that is incident along this side, but normal to the interface, the component will be E cross H cos theta t. Time averaged normal component of the Poynting vector into second medium per unit area can be written as P T average equal to real part of 1/2 into Et square by tau 2 into cos theta t. Here Pt is written as due to your time average. Okay, so Pt average will be the real part of half Et square by your impedance of the medium into cos theta t. So as we are discussing the transmitted wave, that means in the medium 2, so intrinsic impedance of medium 2 has to be considered. So how this expression came, for that I am going to show you one simple problem. You have to write in your note here you can found that in a perfect dielectric medium, the electric field progressing in a z direction is given by equation this one, and magnetic field is this one, and where x0 is the peak value, ex at t equal to 0, and 0 and z equal to 0. Eta is the intrinsic impedance of the dielectric. Prove that average power through any surface area S normal to z axis is given by half. This is the amplitude square by eta into this surface area. For unit surface area, it will be this one. It will be half E Ex0. That means it is represents the amplitude square by eta. So for this case, we are considering the normal component of the electromagnetic normal component of the Poynting vector. So for this case, it will be this much into cos theta t. So if we are going to consider per unit area, then this will be half electric field, the amplitude of electric field square by impedance of that corresponding medium into cos theta t. So by considering this problem, here you can see we can found this much. Okay, for surface S, this will be this much. For unit surface, it will be this much. For our case, for oblique incidence, the normal component of the Poynting vector will be into cos theta t. So hence I have been written that 1 by 2 et square by eta 2 into cos theta t. Why I have been written real part? Because the Poynting vector represents the energy, propagation of energy, transfer of energy, propagation of energy. So energy should be always real. So hence for our shape mode, we have to write real part. The energy always will be real. So as Et we found in the expression, it has two part. One is real part and imaginary part. After calculation, we have to consider only the real part of the power, not to be imaginary. Okay, so here you can write the answer of this question, that E equal to P equal to E cross H, that is your energy, outward flow of energy per unit area, and through the area S, it will be P dot S, PS, and E cross H, E is given as this one, H is given as this one. So E cross H will be this one, and PZ will be this one, and Z component, and it will be, after multiplication we can found PZ will be Ex0, that means amplitude square by eta into cos square omega t minus beta z. For the time average or average PZ, here how much we can get? Here you can see average means integration 0 to t Pz dz by 0 to t dt, and by considering this simple integration, you can see simple integrations. Here integration 0 to t means t, so this will be cos square theta, means it will be 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2, and 0 to t just put the limit, and here this is the simple integration. You can do by yourself in any way. I have been done in detail. Here limit how it will be changed. When t equal to 0, theta will be minus 2 beta z, t equal to t, theta will be 2 omega t minus 2 beta z, and at last we found that average will be half E0 x square, that means your amplitude square by eta into S. Per unit area will be this one, half E0 square by eta. The same thing I have been written over here, that P average will be the real part of half ET square. This is transmitted wave amplitude square by eta 2 into cos theta t. Okay, so PT average can be written as See, Et square can be written as Et into Et complex conjugate, right? Because we have been studied in quantum mechanics, psi mod square is nothing but psi into psi mod, right? Psi star complex real and its complex conjugate. So Et can be written as Et square can be written as Et into Et star by eta 2 into cos theta t. So it will be real part of half 1 by eta 2 et complex conjugate cos theta t. So et value is et and into et complex conjugate. If we are going to be multiply, we are going to get this much only. How it will be? See, this one is your et. So et star will be this one, this much into e to the minus of this much. So here you can see et into et star. If I am going to multiply, then this factor is going to be multiplied 2 times. This factor into this factor, then e to the power I this much into e to the minus I this much. So this e to the I factor is going to be add, means e to the power I something into e to the I something into e to the minus I something. It will be 1, because e to the power I into e to the minus I, so e to the 0 will be 1. So only we are going to get this much into this much also. So here, after multiplication of et into et star, we are going to get et into e to the minus omega epsilon to mu 2 root over bj into et into e to the minus omega root over of epsilon to mu 2 into bj cos theta t is there, cos theta t, right? So here et square, here e to the power 2 omega epsilon to mu 2 whole root over into bz, right? So now we are going to consider real part of this one, whole this one. The real part of this one will be called as your average power in the second medium, in the transmitted side. But here we are not going to get any real part. How? See, 1 by eta 2 real part of this one. Put a curly bracket here over a total curly bracket. So curly bracket of et square into e to the minus 2 omega root over of epsilon 2 mu 2 bz cos theta t is nothing but a complex value, that is your minus ib. You just put minus ib. So here the real part of this factor is how much? 0, because this in bracket, in the curly bracket, whatever the factor we found, that is fully imaginary. So real part of this one is 0. So hence pt average, time average of power or energy, you can say, in the second medium, in the transmitted side, is 0. So the above equation is purely imaginary, not contains real part. Hence pt average equal to 0. Hence net energy flow, this is interesting, net energy flow through the surface into the second medium is 0. Energy not to be flow, but some light, very faint light we can found in the second medium, having the thickness of 250 nanometer, and it is decreased its intensity. But however, we are going to be consider its energy, that energy is very negligible, or we can say that is 0 in the second medium. Case of TIR, total internal reflection. Okay, so this is all about evanescent wave. So write down the note perfectly, and next class we are going to go for a new topic. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. I suggest that you have to write down the note by pause the video and draw the figure also perfectly and complete it ready for the next class. Thank you so much. Thank you.